we are. All right, let's officially start. Hey, John. So we will use the usual toys. Make sure you have your band, your block, your weights, if you want to use the weights, of course. If you don't have a band, no worries. Just ad lib with a towel or something similar like a yoga strap. But let's start on all fours. And let's see. Yes, palms flat. Great. Middle finger pointing straight ahead. Start with toes tucked if that works for you, and just shift back and forth. We'll do about 5 or 6, fairly dynamic, just warming up the hands and wrists, the toes. Keep the neck long, try not to bounce the neck, the head back and forth, just like you're reaching through space, sliding like a table back and forth. And we're going to continue, but let's squat back for a second. Now, as we come forwards, you're going to bend your elbows a little bit, maybe halfway or 3/4 down, pull with the hands, and think of, how do I say this? Think of coming forwards like you're a cat sliding under a fence. So you go from the heel of the hand into the center of the palm. Then we're going to round back. You can do regular toes if you want. So bend the elbows like you're doing a tricep dip. You slither low to the floor and then rounding back. So just do 3 more. So cat sliding under the fence, as I like to call this one. Exhale to round back. Inhale to arch under the fence. Take your time. We'll do 1 more. Just try to work out any kinks in your spine. And then we find level. From here, tuck your toes. We're going to do a set of elephants. So as we exhale, let's pop the knees in the air. And then from here, we'll shift our hips back, elephant or downward dog, same thing. And then as we inhale, we'll come back almost to the floor. You can also always rest your knees if your hands don't like this. So we go back on the exhale, stretch your legs, inhale to the hover, exhale, press back, inhale to the hover. Let's do 2 more, just working through those legs. And doesn't matter, they may not want to be totally straight right now if you haven't walked or if you haven't moved a lot already this morning. You probably have more than I have, but if you haven't, just keep them a bit bent. So last one, we shift back, hold there now, and we'll take a little walk of the walking the dog type thing. So you can lower one heel, lower the other, and then just sort of swing your hips a little bit side to side, shake it up a bit. You see, it looks like you're wagging your tail as you walk your dog. Good. And we come back to center, and then we'll walk our feet towards the hands or vice versa. Soft knees, and we'll slowly, let's roll our way up 1 vertebra at a time. I'll fix my monitor here. Excellent. Okay, so from here, we're going to reach our arms, palms forward. Just reach them about shoulder height in front. We're going to bend the knees a little bit. You can do a tiny bit of a pelvic tilt, not too aggressive, but just to make sure your hips are locked in. So we're going to pull the right elbow, the right elbow back, reach your left arm forwards and let yourself rotate. Your chest rotates to your right, but you're still keeping your knees and your hips straight, and then switch. So it's a Charles, go this way so you can see me better. So it's a pull, almost like a bow and arrow type pull. So it's a pull and reach, letting your ribs rotate around your spine. So we'll try to keep the hips just for something to play with still. Do a couple more. And then do the same reach, but go a little bit lower. So down over your thigh and reach, really pull the back shoulder back. Last one, we'll go a little higher, last set. So go maybe higher than your head. So you're getting more upper rotation, hips stay still. A couple more of those, 2, 1, and then let's relax. Let's slowly open the arms out to the side. You can relax your legs now, they can be straight. Interlace your fingers behind your head, just plain interlace system, elbows a little bit forwards. And we're just going to bend the knees again. Round your upper back, but over the breastbone, like you're doing an ab curl, like when you're doing the ab work on the mat. So you just round over a little bit. And then inhale, you can straighten your legs, look up and lift the chest. So let's do 3 of those. So elbows in a bit as you round. I'm just going to fix my monitor, but you can't see my head. And then that's it. And then inhale to arch. So it's quite small. It's just in the upper back. So you round, arch, last one, curl, arch, and then find neutral up there. We're going to turn. Soft knees again, just turn your waist to the right. Same thing, we'll do 3 on the side. So elbows point down to the floor as you round the upper back, and then you can stretch the chest up. Elbows narrow as we curl, elbows open as we arch. 1 more of those on that side, really get into that upper shoulder blade region. And at the top, let's spin around to your left. So we round over, knees stay straight ahead. So we've rotated, but the knees and the hips have not. So curl and arch, last one. Curl and arch, and then we'll come back to center, circle the arms down. All right, so why don't we step the right foot forward, And you're going to open it out a little wider than, well, actually, so if you're right in front of your hip, just go fairly wide to the side. Keep the other heel back on the floor. Hips are even. We're going to do a variation of a lunge. So hips are straight, but we're going to bend you're going to bend your right knee. So you're going to travel forwards and a little to the right, but you're still facing front. Go so far, bending this knee, that your back heel starts to just come up a little bit off the mat, but reach the heel back so you're not, in other words, if you do this, you won't get the stretch. You're trying to keep a straight leg. So you're coming forwards, forwards, forwards. Then we're going to reach the right arm up by the ear, take the left arm forwards, and we're going to rotate that arm backwards. So you get a rotation, and then we straighten back up. Keep the leg in front. So you just do a regular kind of a lunge, press forward, straighten the back legs. You should be already getting that hip flexor stretch. Right arm goes up, reach for the sky. Other arm reaches forward, and then rotate with that arm, turn the left side of your chest to the side, keep coming forwards, and then we back up one more of those. So you glide forwards. Hopefully we're getting some kind of a stretch sensation there. Arm reaches up, should intensify that. We turn the arm, left arm back, but it's not just the arm. Remember, it's your whole rib cage is rotating there. And then we ease back. Now we're going to switch sides. So just pop back, left foot steps forward. And the wider you go with this, you're going to feel more an obvious stretch, let's say. Your back foot is straight though. Make sure both feet are straight. So you bend the front knee so much so that your back heel is forced to come off the floor, although it's trying not to, but it will come off the floor because this leg is straight. We're going to reach the left arm up, right arm forwards. This is a little complicated. I don't know why I chose this name, but rotate. But if you can get it, it's a really good stretch. And if you get confused, just come forward. So you get a really good, just that should be a good hip flexor stretch. Up, if you don't feel it, you're probably bending your knee, or you might have to travel forwards. I'll do the last one to the side so you can see what I'm doing a bit better. So you go forwards. You can see I'm coming forwards quite a bit. And then turn, head goes forwards, but you're rotating your right arm back. And then we will ease up. Great. Now we're going to go into a squat series. You can separate your feet a little wider than your hips. Just going to sit, I'll know how to squat. So we're just going to sit down, pretend you're holding ski poles. And then we're going to squeeze our pinky fingers back, rise up into a calf raise. So inhale, we sit down, press up, feel the sits bones widen. And how high you raise your arm is dependent on how much upper back mobility you have. So if you're finding you have to round your back, don't go so low, don't go so high with the arms. Good. So last one of those. All right. Now we're going to come down into the squat. We're going to keep the arms behind us. It's more of a hip hinge, really, but let's call it a squat. So now we're going to rise up, swing your arms up, lift your heels, and we're going to drop down quickly, exactly like a chop. So inhale, we rise up, stable through the ankles, drop. Let's do 3 more. Rise up, drop. You can make some noise in your house. Inhale up or on your deck. Drop. Last 2. Last 1. Great. And then let's release. Let's go to the back. I guess you call this the back of the mat. So the front of the mat is facing us. I guess that's the correct word. We're going to do a roll down into a long downward dog this time. So just roll your spine down, walk out. You do that. I'm just going to tip my monitor down because I realize you can't see me. Yep. Keep going into your plank. Well, first you hit your down dog and then you ease into a plank. Now we'll stay here. Lift your left leg up and put it down, and then your right leg up. Just do that a couple more times. Up and up. Good. Now we're going to lower the knees. We're going to slide back into a child's pose just for a moment. Let's keep the arms in the same spot. Take a big breath in. And then we're going to go into another plank. So come forwards, chest over wrists, tuck your toes, ease into your plank. So the first, we'll do a couple of these so you can fiddle with it, but we're just going to pop or roll forwards and back. So it's like we are moving forward and back, but it's being propelled from our feet, from our toes. So we'll go for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's lower the knees. Sit back, child's pose. This time in child's pose, why don't we walk the hands to 2 and 3 o'clock, roughly to the right. And then we'll take it to the other side, 11 and 10 maybe. Good. Come back to center, and we'll just do one more set of those planks. So your choice, you can do double feet, or we're going to try the single leg. So we come forwards. And if anyone's having wrist issues, do it on your forearms. That's fine too. Okay, so set it up. You can do small plank, in which case you won't be moving, otherwise the big plank. Now, if you want to do single leg, just lift your left heel, flex both feet so you get pulled backwards, point both feet so you travel forwards, and then we speed it up. So we go back and forth, back and forth. Yes, 2, 1. Let's switch feet. So get centered, make sure your pelvis is a little bit tucked under, lift the left heel, or the right heel, my apologies, and forward and back. It bugs your toes, don't do it. We'll go for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And let's lower that knee, sit back, child's pose, walk the hands out. But this time, let's just present palms to ceiling. Just open the palms up. You might have to bend your elbows a bit for some more ease in the shoulders. And then we'll slowly roll our way up. Let's grab our trusty bands. We're going to sit at the front of our mats now. And let's do a few roll back variations. So we will cover the balls of our feet. So if you have a yoga strap, you might be able to get away with this for some of it, but just do what you can. But we'll start with the plain version of this. So we'll have the toes covered up if your band is wide enough. Sit tall, open the elbows a tiny bit. Think of hugging kind of a medium beach ball type thing. Collarbones are wide, shoulder blades are spread. Take a breath. We will keep the feet flexed, but just curl back behind your tailbone and keep the hugging a ball position. Perfect. So we're going to inhale there. Now we're not going to move the shoulders back anymore. So let's commit to this spot, but just deepen your pelvic tilt. So think pubic bone to chest, even more, if there's any more there. Breathe in, and then we roll back up, and we'll do that 2 more times. So just roll without losing any height in your low back. Scoop your waist back, find your position, and then just think, can we deepen this position anyway? So you could start from the bottom. So just tip your pubic bone to your chest. You could also bend your breastbone towards your pubic bone. So that's another way to get there. So we inhale, and then we roll back up. Last one like that. So curl back, roll back. Feel free to go lower if you're feeling warmed up. Deepen the pelvic tilt from the bottom, from the base. Deepen the upper curl from the top without coming up yet. So we're just holding this lovely position, and then we roll back up. Now walk your hand, you might have to tighten this up a bit. So walk your hands down a bit for the pull back. So we pull the elbows straight back, wrists are straight. Yeah, because I can't see everyone, just if you can look, make sure your wrists are in line with your elbows. You don't want them down here. So yeah, wrist as high as your elbows, no lower, reach forward. So we'll just do 5 of these little pulls for just accenting the shoulder blades, helps us sit up straight. Yeah, try to keep the shoulder heads away from the wall in front of you. So we don't want to go into this sort of sitting at a desk position. Not that any of us sit like that, but okay. So we're going to pull the elbows back, keep them back, scoop back now, roll back. And then once you're there, let the arms go straight forwards, not out to the side. Now, can we lower them down towards the floor with straight arms? So we're not pulling in the band, so it's a little harder core work. And then lift the arms carefully up without losing it on your toes. So we go down, touch, up, pull, down, up, keeping your curl consistent, down, up, last one, lift it up, and then we'll just roll all the way down, slide your feet a little closer. And we're going to pull the knees with the band still on our feet to tabletop roughly. Just comfortable. If you need a pad under your head, go for it. Okay, double leg stretches up to the ceiling. So we'll exhale, press both heels to the sky like we're standing on our ceilings, and then drag your heels to tabletop. So we'll do 5, press, drag down. Pretend you're dragging your heels down a chalkboard, that kind of horrible sound. So the knees actually stay in the same spot. It's just the shins going up and down. Good. Now let's finish at tabletop. We're going to pass the band, let me think about this, to your left hand. Yeah, both sides of the band to your left hand. Now you will be tempted to swoosh your shins to the left, but don't do that. So to not have that happen, push both feet sideways into the lateral edges of your feet into your band. So you're actually feeling your outer hips work a tiny bit there. Now take your right arm straight up to the ceiling for a moment, and then just open it out to the right, resting it on your mat over to the right, like a T shape. Inhale there. Now we're gonna do a twist to your left. So as we exhale, we're gonna rock both legs with a little bit of that outer pressure into our bands, partway down to the left. I'm gonna choke up on this band a bit. And then we come back up. We're just gonna do 4 more only to the left. So you tip legs, pelvis to the left, everything moving as a unit. So the right hip comes off slowly. Try not to over rely on your left elbow. Try to use your core. I mean, you do need your left elbow. Don't worry about that, but just, it is a core exercise in case you were not noticing. So last one over and back up. Now just stretch the legs up again. Just give them a little shake out if they're getting, hip flexors are getting a little sore. We're almost done. So we'll bend back to tabletop, cross the left side of your band to the right. Left arm just rests on the floor. Make sure your low back is happy here. So if you need to pull your knees deeper to your chest, that's fine. And here we go. So you're pushing a little bit sideways into your band, rock to the right, inhale. You can see my left hip has come up, and then that's it. And then exhale up. So your feet, it's almost like there's a ball between our knees and our feet. So there's consistency in the position. Yeah, that looks good, everyone. So we go over, so you get the waist turning, and then the waist muscles pull you back. So last one, eyes can look up at the ceiling or to the left, forgot to say. And then we come back up. Great. Let's take the band off. You're going to put it under your knees now. So just shake your legs in the air while you have the chance. Put the band right behind your knees and just dangle your shins now right over it, just like it's a trapeze or something. And then we're going to crisscross our bands over the front of the shins. I'll face you so you can see what it is I'm doing. So we want the crisscross. This is important. It has to be at the front, not over your thighs in the front. So the crisscross is, you can't see it in a sense because it's in front, not in front. It's the front of your shins, not the front of your quads. Okay, now that I've totally confused everyone, elbows are down. Just let your knees relax to your chest for a second. Shins relax. Just let your back relax. Okay, so now what we're going to do, the first set will be the easier set, of course. So just choke up on this. So my fists are pretty much touching my legs here, but just push your shins out into the band. I'm not going to lift the shins. I'm just going to push them out until my feet arrive on the floor, flat on the floor. No, we don't want to move the lower back here. So just fold your legs back towards you. There's a nice kitty cat. Pull the legs back in. Try to keep a fairly flat pelvis. So push against your band to get your feet. And you might have to push out a little bit to get your feet to travel a little bit further out, and then inhaling back. So we're just getting a little bit of low abdominal control. So can we do this without arching the back? Some of us may have to put I should probably have a cushion under my head because my ribs are a bit arched this morning, but try to keep your front ribs down. Now we're going to make it a little harder. So we'll lift the shins more to a tabletop-like position. Still fairly taut. Flex your feet again. This is more work because it's heavy. We've got more leg to deal with here. So just drive your shins out forwards in front and down till your heels touch the floor. And then inhale, we fold the legs back in. You can even bring them a little deeper than tabletop just to give your back a break. So it's exhale, down, tap. Inhale back. Let's do 2 more. And back. Heavy ribs, front ribs down. If you're not feeling your core, it means you're arching your back. So it should be fair. You have to basically brace your rib cage, your core, to keep your back from arching. Now, when we arrive at the top, let's unravel ourselves. Finally. But what we can do is just put the band at the front of our shins now and just walk your feet out. Just do a few bridges here. So just walk your hands up the band so your arms are a little bit in the air probably, but in a very relaxed way. This is not, it's more just for feedback at this point. So your feet are ready for bridge. You're going to press your shins forward into that band to levitate your hips into the air. We're going to pull a little bit out on our band, just a tiny bit sideways. Make sure your wrists are straight though. Should not be it should be a nice feeling, not like we're lifting 100 pounds or anything. And then we just sit back down. So we're not doing a pelvic tilt. We're just pulling the pelvis forward, driving forwards into the band. It's like an airplane going down the runway. We levitate off the ground a few inches. And then when we go back to sit, we kind of travel back to where our head is again. So let's do 3 more. So you drive into the band, pulling yourself forward and up. We're trying to travel a few centimeters forward, and then we travel maybe a few centimeters back. So 2 more, push forwards. Really, it's almost like our heels are dragging towards our shoulder blades. Toes stay relaxed, but there's quite a bit of hamstring work. So 1 more, push forwards. Maybe go a little higher with this one. That's it. Oh, that's good. And then release back down. Let's take the band into our hands now. You can separate your hands so they're a little wider than your shoulders. 2 fists, and we'll just, actually having said that, we're gonna fold our fingers underneath, and then you can make a light fist after. So by the time you make your loop, it's right over the hands, fingers are free, but it might be more satisfying to just lightly make a light fist. So wrists are straight as you look up there, pull sideways or press a little bit sideways. We're not overstretching the band, we just want to take out the slack. It's small muscle groups we're working here, not the big ones. So as we inhale, ab curls, let's take the arms back behind us. Keep consistency in the arms. Usually we have the dominant shoulder likes to go a little quicker, so just watch for these little things. And as we exhale, nod your chin. We're going to curl up. You're going to touch the band to your legs, and then you're going to pull down. So now we will get a little more assertive with the band, and then reach up to the ceiling, and then we go back down. So let's do 5 of those, 5 more. So exhale, curl forwards and pull. Fist toward the floor. That's it, perfect. Inhale, sweep up like you're trying to touch your fist to the ceiling. bring it back. Exhale, fold and curl, pull. Inhale, up and back. Let's do 2 more. And final one. Pull, fold, or fold, pull. Inhale up, bring it all back. Great, and then we're gonna unravel ourselves from that. Put the band over your right foot, the ball of the foot, possibly the toes if your band is wide enough, something like this. Leg up. Left leg long. Pull the elbows taut to the floor, so you want a nice taut band. And one leg circle. So let's go out first. Down, tip to the left. You can do this with a left bent knee too, of course, if you prefer. So we circle out, tip, as you go to the left, pull back. So we'll do 3 more. And 2. And 1. And let's reverse, same leg. So we go across first, just a little bit of a tip, nothing. Keep it fairly small today because we're working on a bit of speed. So it's a small tip. You stabilize in the right, small tip, and last one. All right, now we're going to slide your left foot in. Before we switch sides, we're going to do a set of single leg bridges. We'll keep that right leg up there. It can be a little bit bent, it can be straight if you have the hamstring length. Left heel is in line with your sits bone. Just roll your pelvis under. So we will do a pelvic tilt this time. As you curl up, maybe to your low shoulder blade. We're going to roll down just to the waistband, keeping a pelvic tilt. So let's do 8 of these. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Now the very final one, let's hold it up there. Bring the right hip, make sure it's not sagging. Just move your left leg a little to the left and then over to the right, keeping everything stable. So we'll just do 3 more. Over right and then back left. 2 more times. I'm not in a high bridge, sort of a low bridge actually. And then come back to center. Let's roll down. We'll swap the feet. So left foot goes up. Cover your toes if you can. You might want to shake out your hands for a second. We'll start with our one leg circle. So you're welcome to stretch your right leg long on the mat if that works better. So we'll go, let's go left first, my mistake. So left into the small tip to the right. Exhale in the open, the left side. Inhale on the tipping side. Let it free up any muscle tension. And if your right leg is bent, your right knee, just let it tip with the left leg. It's just a little easier to do that. Let's reverse at the top. So we go across right and then over left, tipping to the right. Even though we're tipping, do remember to keep your left shoulder more or less on the floor. Let's do 1 more. Looks good. And we'll bring it back to the top. Slide your right foot in if it's straight, single leg bridge. So start with your pelvic tilt. Roll your hips under and then just push through the right foot. Knee goes over second toe or big toe as you go up for 8, 7. Use your whole foot, mainly the heel, but don't forget you have toes. Even though we're not weight bearing on them, they're still relaxed. And I lost count. Let's do 2 more. Last one, hold, and we go in. I'm so busy looking at everyone, and out. And in, keep your right knee steady as you keep your left hips as high as your right. Moving the left leg like you're cleaning your ceiling. Last one. And center, let's release. Let's take that band off, stretch the legs long, shake out your fingers for a second. And once you're resting, just do a few of these heel rocks. Just point and flex like you did in the plank earlier, except this is a lot easier. Let your whole body get jiggled back and forth. Skull, ribs, pelvis, and then relax. Let's bend one knee, bend the other. We're going to roll onto one side, well, it doesn't matter which side, but onto one elbow, like a plank type position. We are going to have our knees in front of us stacked, kind of like a tabletop, elbow under shoulder, just like you were doing a plank, but we're not quite doing that yet. Reach your top arm up, push the floor a little bit away with your forearm, the bottom forearm. And we're going to think about bringing this hand up here, reach it forwards. And as you reach it forwards, you're going to rotate your body forwards. We're going to touch the floor. Now, once you've touched the floor, we're going to back up just halfway. So just a little lower than the shoulder. We're going to stay here now. Take a breath in. Now we will do a plank. So you're a little bit rotated to the floor. Your shoulder blade is down your back of your top arm as well. Lift both hips up. Good. Now we're going to lift the top leg up as well. So the bottom leg has to work harder. Hold that. We'll just hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower the leg, lower the pelvis. Relax for a second. Now we're going to do it again, but we're going to change one thing. So bring the legs back now behind you, or the shins back behind you, feet behind you. Maybe you're roughly 180 here. Not quite. I'm not 100%, but if you can, go for it. Lift your waist, reach the top arm up. We'll start rotating first. You can touch the floor, so you get that nice little rotation. But then just pull away from the floor a little bit so we're not quite so rotated. Lift both hips up again. Both hips, what do I mean by that? Both legs up again. And then we'll lift the top leg. Lift the pelvis is what I meant to say. So you were up, and we're gonna hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good, lower that down. And now we'll just do a set. So we're gonna float everything up, everything down. You can tap the floor this time with your hand. You can lift the arm up a little higher than your shoulder, everything down. Last 2. Last 1. All right, now before we switch sides, we're gonna flip onto our stomach. Just remember what sides, you remember the other side. Roll onto your belly. Now at this point, we are gonna do a shoulder stretch that's also an upper back strengthener. So you have 2 options. You can interlace your fingers back there, or if that feels too restrictive, use your band instead and hold it a little, so you're a little wider spaced. If you can't interlace your fingers, I'll show you that option. If you're holding the band, your palms will be up. Okay, so start with the elbows bent. Just reach your arms down your back like you're trying to touch your toes. Lift the chest. Look forward, lift the legs, and we'll reach our arms up. Not just as high as they'll naturally go without straining. So we're just gonna breathe, inhaling, exhaling. And you can rock up a little bit as you inhale, rock down as you exhale. 1 more of those. Great, release the fingers. Come into push-up position, push yourself up. Let's go to our planks on the other side. So shins in front. So we did two kinds. So the first one was tabletop legs, top arm up. You get that little rotation. So you turn your arms in front of your breastbone type thing. It's not up here or down there. Yeah. And then we just back off a little bit from that because it's a little too extreme for the exercise. Now make sure your knees are on a padded surface. We pop our hip in the air, pelvis in the air. And then we're going to lift the top leg up as high as it will go. You might want to push down a little harder into your floor leg too for 5, 4, 3, and we're slightly turning sternum to the floor and release. Second one, you can do that one again, by the way. That's a little easier. The second one is a little harder because our legs are behind us, so your choice. But elbow on the floor, lift your waist, yeah. Reach forward, and then a little bit off your mat. Pop the hips up. We're gonna lift the top leg up. Now we're gonna lift everything up, and then everything comes down. So we go up and down. This shoulder head that's doing all the work is in the socket, not popping forwards. Oops, I'm losing my position here. Up and down, and last one up and down. Great, now we're gonna roll onto our backs. You can keep your shins up in the air like that. Rest your forehead on your hands. Open your knees a bit, feet still in the air. Make sure there's nothing around you, but just shift or swing your legs like windshield wipers side to side, letting your hips move a bit. Pelvis will lift up. That's it, just a nice relaxing thing. Come back to center. And we're gonna keep the knees wide, bring your heels together, toes out. We're gonna squeeze the hips down into the mat. Hopefully your mat has padding here, sorry. And we're just gonna do 5 double knee lifts. So squeeze your glutes, lift the knees up. You wanna make sure the back doesn't buckle here, the low back. So if it does, and you've tried using your core and it's not helping, you may wanna do double leg lifts instead with the legs straight. So just go for 3, 2. Now the final one, just hold the heels up there, float your forehead off your hands. You might want to lift your chest a tiny bit for comfort. Open the fingertips out to the side, like a T shape. Push your left heel into your right heel. So you're going to rock over to your right. So legs flop over to the right. This is the seahorse exercise. And then I don't know why it's called that, but we rock back to center. Maybe someone can figure that out for me. Press over to the left so your chest is turned to the right. Just do that one more time. Seahorse over to the right. Glutes are working. Seahorse over to the left. As we finish that cycle off, let's relax the legs. Bring your hands to push-up position. I have something behind me. I'm going to move out of my way here. Let's do 5 little planks to shell stretch. So exhale, push up, shift back into child's pose. Arms stay long, and we just shoot forwards, and we do a little tricep push-up all the way to the mat. So try 4 more. So you go up, press back, get the stretch, press forward, collect your ribs, come on down. So the nice thing about this version is that you get a bit of a stretch in between. So muscles always work better when they get that lengthening before they contract. So if you hate push-ups, this is a nice option. And we'll do one more. Push up. Let's sit back to finish. You can leave the arms in front if you enjoy that stretch, or feel free to alternate. You can put them elsewhere, wherever you like. Take a few breaths. If the hands are in front, like mine are, you may want to try turning the palms up just to change the shoulder position a bit. And then we'll slowly roll our way up, one vertebra at a time. You can stay sitting on your shins, or you might want to change your sit position. We'll just finish with a bit of a neck release. So you can tip your ear maybe to your right shoulder. And if you walk your fingertips away from you on either side, especially the left one, the opposite one to the direction that you're stretching, you'll get a good traction down the side. Turn your, assuming you're going, if you're mirroring me, you're going to turn your eyes and your chin down towards your right shoulder, just a little bit, tuck the chin. Keep reaching your opposite fingers away. Face the front again with your head, side bending, and then we come up. Other side, so just an easy lean. You don't want to overstretch with these neck stretches, but just gentle. Opposite fingers reach, rotate, slightly down, chin in, eyes ahead, ear over shoulder, and then we'll come all the way up. Let's take a big breath in, just collect the air, think of reaching up as high as you can, and then we'll circle down. All right, so good work, everyone. Let me shut this